Sweden, a new job seeker visa is one of the best temporary work visa categories that can be issued up to 9 months. This visa is indeed a residence permit for highly qualified persons who are going to look for an employment opportunity or start their own business inside Sweden. If you have completed studies corresponding to an advanced level degree, you can obtain this residence permit or Sweden new job seeker visa to come to Sweden and look for work or explore the possibilities for starting a business. To apply for this visa, you will need to provide a valid passport proof of financial support and a detailed plan for your job search or business venture in Sweden. The processing time for the visa can take up to 4 months on average, so it's important to apply well in advance. Once approved, the visa allows you to stay in Sweden for up to 6 months while you search for employment or explore business opportunities. Welcome back everybody, thank you for watching this video. If this is your first time visiting our channel, my name is Ahmad Reza and here we help those who are in search of better opportunities to work, live or study abroad. In this video I'm going to share the most recent updates and details of how to apply for Sweden new job seeker visa. If this is your first time being here, subscribe to our channel, and for getting informed of new uploads, hit the notification bell. The residence permit for foreign job seekers may be granted for a minimum of 3 months and for no more than 9 months. During the period that you have this residence permit, your family cannot move to Sweden or live with you. But after receiving a job offer, you can shortly apply for a work permit that allows all of your family members to join you and start their new life in Sweden. If you have a residence permit for studies in higher education in Sweden and you have completed your studies and want to seek employment or explore the possibilities of starting your own business in Sweden, you should apply for another type of residence permit that you can see another video related to this visa for Sweden work permit in our Immigration to Europe playlist. So what are the requirements for Sweden job seeker visa? In order to obtain this visa to seek employment or explore the possibilities for starting a business in Sweden, you must have completed studies corresponding to an advanced level degree. I'll explain more about this in the following. And plan to seek employment or explore the possibilities for starting your own business. You must also be able to support yourself financially during the period for which you are applying for a work permit and have enough money to cover the cost of your journey home. This is also important. You must have comprehensive health insurance valid for care in Sweden for the time of your visa has the validity. You must have a passport valid for the entire period you intend to be in Sweden. If your passport is about to expire, you should extend it because you cannot get a permit for longer than your passport is valid. And you must currently be located outside of Sweden. Let's see what is considered as an advanced level degree. For a degree to count as advanced level, it must correspond to a 60 credit master's degree or 120 credit master's degree or a professional degree worth 60 to 330 credits or a postgraduate or PhD level degree. So the first thing that makes you eligible for Sweden job seeker visa is that you should have at least a master's degree with the enough credits passed successfully. In your application, you must also enclose a letter of consent that gives the Swedish Council for Higher Education or UHR the right to contact higher education institutions in your home country to verify your educational documents. The Swedish Migration Department then sends your documents to UHR so that they can assess your level of education and its validity. And also the Swedish Migration Department cannot answer questions about the level of your degree before you have made your application. In order to make an application for Sweden new job seeker visa, you need digital copies of the pages in your passport that show your personal data, photo, signature, passport number, issuing country, period of validity, interest stamps, and if you have a permission to live in countries other than your country of origin. Digital copies of examination or degree certificate, digital copies of official transcript or academic record that shows the courses included in your education, digital copies of bank statements or other documents showing that you have sufficient funds to support yourself during the period for which you are applying for this visa. If permission from a central bank or the equivalent is required to take out the money from your country, you must include such a permit. Digital copies of documents showing that you have comprehensive health insurance that is valid for care in Sweden. And digital copies of a signed letter of consent that gives the Swedish Council for Higher Education or UHR the right to contact higher education institutions in your home country to verify your educational documents. You also need to be able to pay any fee for the application by credit card or debit card. In addition, you may need to translate some documents if your examination certificate and official transcripts are issued in a language other than Swedish or English. They have to be translated into Swedish or English. The translation must be done by an authorized translator. Enclose copies of the original documents and the translated documents to your application. Before you complete your application, make sure that the information on the documents you attach is clearly visible. Important information such as your name must appear in the documents. The documents should also be translated into Swedish or English by an authorized public translator if they are issued in another language when attaching translated documents. You should always provide a copy of the original document. The documents should be as recently issued as possible, like proof of insurance, bank statements, and any translations. How much money you need to prove as to support yourself in applying for this visa? You must show that you have secured your financial support for the time for which you are applying for a visa. This means that you must demonstrate that you have bank assets equivalent to what is considered enough for each month for which you are applying for a residence permit. In addition to this, you should also have money to be able to pay your travel home. You must have comprehensive health insurance. You must have your own health insurance that is valid for care in Sweden. The insurance must cover the entire period for which you are applying for a permit. The insurance must cover the cost of both emergency and other medical care, as well as hospitalization, dental care, and possible repatriation for medical reasons. Besides, the insurance terms for the insurance policy you have taken must be attached to your application. You can apply or submit the form and attached documents at the Swedish Embassy or Consulate General in your country of residence. If it is not possible to apply in your country, you must apply at the Embassy or Consulate General that is closest to the country where you live. Contact the Embassy or Consulate General before submitting your application for more information. If you're applying at an embassy or a consulate general, you pay the fee when handing in your application. For information on regarding the fee, contact the embassy in question or the consulate, as they do not follow the same fee regulations as the Swedish Migration Department. Once you have submitted an application for the visa, the Swedish Migration takes a decision about the case. And as I mentioned earlier, the permit may be granted for a minimum of 3 months and for no more than 9 months. After the decision, if you get a permit for more than 3 months, you will receive a residence permit card. The card is proof that you have permission to be in Sweden and contains your fingerprints and a photo of you, among other information. If you need an entry visa to travel to Sweden, you should visit the Swedish Embassy or Consulate General in your country of residence to be photographed and provide your fingerprints as soon as possible. Please contact the Embassy or Consulate General prior to your visit. If you do not need an entry visa, you should make an appointment to provide fingerprints and be photographed after arriving in Sweden. However, please note that you need to apply for and receive your visa before you travel to Sweden. And remember that you are not allowed to work. If you have been granted a visa to seek employment or investigate the conditions for starting a business, you are not allowed to work while you are in Sweden. If you get a job in Sweden during the permit period, good news is that you can apply for a work permit from within the country, and so you're not allowed to start working before you have applied for the new permit. You can also see another video on how to apply for a Swedish work permit in our Immigration to Europe playlist. Once you have applied for a work permit, you will be able to work while the migration department processes your new application, which is a great point for applicants to work in Sweden. You are only allowed to work for the same employer and in the profession for which you have applied for a permit. However, if you decide to start a business in Sweden, you can apply for a residence permit as a self-employed person in Sweden and run your business while the migration department processes your application. I can also help you in obtaining your Sweden job seeker visa, whether you are going to search for your desired job and find an employer to sign a contract or explore the possibilities of starting a business in Sweden. This visa is ideal for individuals who are looking to establish themselves in the Swedish job market. With our service for this visa, you can assign the application process with ease and increase your chances of a successful outcome. This visa has quotas, so you need to have a very strong application and thorough documentation to have a successful visa acquisition. To me, this visa is worth trying since you can hardly find a job in Sweden if you are not meeting Swedish employers in person or having access to the Swedish job market closely. When you are inside Sweden, it is more possible to finalize an employment contract, and also in most cases you don't need to return back to your home country to apply for a long-term work permit. As many EU nationals and Nordic countries citizens are also interested to work in Sweden, they have reasonably more advantages and they are more interesting job seekers than non-EU job seekers given their language abilities and common labor market standards. So for you to enter such a competitive job market, being in Sweden will give you Trump's card, and you will stand stronger chances to find a job in Sweden and then convert your job seeker visa into a work permit. You can also find a link below this video to book a consultation and meeting with me. So please firstly check my schedule through the link and book a meeting to discuss more details on this visa. If also you are going to start your business in Sweden, you can also apply for this visa or use our services to get this visa faster and secured. Sweden visa applications are so time-consuming, so it is better to make sure you are not missing the opportunities. As I mentioned, there are quotas for this visa each year, and also depending on your professional category, the processing time for work permits are different, so this may also impact your financial budgeting, since you may or may not need to return back to your home country to apply for work permit if you receive a job offer from a Swedish employer. My videos always aim to assist you in your immigration journey, and this one is to help you immigrate to Sweden. It contains valuable information that can guide you through the process. I hope it proves to be helpful to you. Today's quote comes from British writer C.S. Lewis. He says, "Courage is not simply one of the virtues, but the form of every virtue at the testing point, which means at the point of highest reality." As always, pin all your hopes always on God. You will never be pinned down by man. Until next video, cheers, bye-bye, over and out.